Yo, what's up? What's up? This is Ash, your neighborhood ninja, and I'm here with the homies Manny Fresh and KFT.
Yay, yay.
And joining us today, man, is the master of disaster, Baker Steve, my friends. Fuck yeah.
He's off the hook. You hear that shit?
What's up?
I've never been brought out so graciously. That was amazing. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, we get a master.
Yo, can I call you Baker Steve or can I call you BS, bro? Which one you want?
SB.
You, Ash, I haven't figured it out. I want you to call me whatever you feel like, because I got to get down with KFT over. I got to make sure. I want to make the official announcement of what the fuck it stands for. I want permission to do that. And you can call me BS, SB, whatever you want.
All right, no, just kidding. Professor Steve, for real. No, out of respect,
No.
for real.
I'm gonna call him
Mr. Professor Steve.
Mr. Professor Steve.
That's
Man,
right.
for real though.
And have you ever seen our Sabu episode, Professor Steve? You gotta go in our archives, man. And we interviewed Sabu, and these guys went under the impression that they start calling him Mr. Sabu. And they was like, is it okay if we can call you Mr. Sabu? And he was like, yeah, I like that. Call me that. So the rest of the interview, all of us were calling him Mr. Sabu, and he was eating it up, man. So it's Mr. Professor Steve today. That's what that's with.
I'm gonna call him Profesor.
Oh, yeah.
Steve.
El profe, güey. El pinche profe.
These guys.
But all right, for real, like we've been wanting you on for a long time since I seen you and shit on the Palcast and all that. I was like, man, we need to talk to this guy. Cause I had asked you a question on the Palcast. It was about Hoyler versus Eddie Bravo.
Eddie Bravo, yeah.
Yeah, well, I had asked you that question.
Eddie
Bravo. So
yeah,
Eddie Bravo.
Yeah, I don't know. That he kind of let me answer it a little bit. And what I was saying was, were you referring to the first match or the second match?
It was the second one. It was the second.
Then Metamoris, yeah. The Metamoris match, man, was Eddie all day. Eddie 100% swept him at will, reversed him.
Sucked to see.
Yeah, I mean, he allowed him Hoyler to make advances in and out of his half guard. It was obvious. And as a practitioner, you watch that shit and you're like, man, Eddie's got him. He's got him. Like he had him twisted up. He had him in those knee compression, muscle crank, knee locks, all that shit. He was tearing his ass up. And you know, those guys are soldiers though. Hoyler ain't tapping for shit. You have to break his fucking neck in front of his people like that. On the second time, he got tapped the first time. He ain't going out like that. He'd have to kill his ass. But anyway, no, Eddie for sure all day was just too advanced for him. Moves that they were unorthodox.
Crazy shit on.
Yeah, that's 10 planet.
You know what? I got a Hoyler Gracie story. One time I was at Red Lobster. I was sitting there eating, and I look over to my left, and I was looking at this guy, and he was looking at me, and in my head I was like, God damn, that fool looks like Hoyler Gracie. You know, and Hoyler's got a look that not everyone has, right?
Right.
I kept looking at him, and I kept looking at him. I was like, I swear to God, that's Hoyler Gracie. So then I seen him like get up, and then I was like, fuck this. I'm going to go see if that's Hoyler Gracie. So I'm walking around the restaurant. I can't find the guy. I'm looking. I end up going outside, and when I go outside, there's this van that had a decal on the side. It was fully wrapped, and it said, God damn it, I can't believe it, Hicks and Gracie Jiu Jitsu. Right? So I was like, holy shit, I think it is Hoyler. So I run back in the restaurant, right? And I'm looking for him. I run back outside, and the van was gone.
Ah, damn.
Hoyler,
but check it out. Check it out, Professor Steve. This is why during the whole time he was wearing one of those Michael Myers masks in the back. You see what I'm saying? He forgot to tell you that part at the restaurant. He did Red Lobster with the Michael Myers mask on. That's why Mr. Gracie was looking at you fucked up.
That's why I was looking at you twisted.
Snapping lobsters. When I seen Hoyler, I grabbed the lobster and I was like,
whoa,
hot and shit.
Damn.
Tap out, I'll crack it. So
with you guys, we're talking a little bit earlier about Paul Varlins.
Right. Rest in
So
peace.
rest in peace, man. The guy, the crazy thing about it, for myself, you know, Joe Moera, this guy,
hell yeah,
fought him first. It was probably like UFC 4, something like that. And it went to, I think, a no contest. I don't think either one of them won that fight. And then later on, he fought one of my other instructors, Marco Huas, and Marco beat him. Marco chopped him with them leg kicks and broke him down. The funny thing is, Joe and Paul stayed really good friends from then forever, man, and until he passed away.
Right.
And yeah, Joe and Marco to this day, I think they're together right now. Marco's in Laguna Niguel, California, and Joe is in Huntington Beach right now, but he retired to Rio. He's back in Brazil.
Oh shit.
And but him and Marco still train on a regular. Like Joe just posted, I think today, something about, I'm grateful for my master of Vale Tudo and Muay Thai, and you know, they show each other mad respect. And when I go, I'll take my students out there, right? And Marco, man, those guys are 62, 63, and they will beat the fuck out of you.
I believe that.
Dude, I believe it 100%.
There's no
Marco Huas looked like a living weapon. Like that motherfucker is one of the most dangerous people ever
that you're ever gonna meet, right? You go there, you go into a cage with him. He locks the door on the cage, looks at you kind of crazy, and then this is no shit. This is how training starts with him. He fucking marches back and forth like a caged animal for a little bit, breathing heavy, and then couple quick stretches. Come on, do this, you know, or whatever. Put your fucking hands up, and then here comes punches, kicks, you know, whatever you're going to be training. But those guys, you know, their original, warrior mindset, and they're like the times of old. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, hell yeah. Wasn't Pedro Hizo out of him?
Yeah, Pedro was his guy. Pedro was under him for a long time, and still is to this day. Represents RVT. That's who has Vale Tudo. That's the same flag we fly in my school. The same.
Oh no shit!
Awesome.
I didn't know about that. That's fucking fresh, man. I didn't know you had connections to Hua. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Huas, my bad. It's because Ninja Hua. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's fresh as fuck, man. Seriously, because we've always had love for Hizo and Huas. You know, like because with Paul Varlins, we talked about the kicks.
That fight, yeah.
Yep.
Remember the stomps to the feet and shit?
Yeah, to the feet, the toe stomps.
Exactly what we train, man. Exactly the same shit. Marco's got a real tight system, and it's what, you know, it's smart and effective. There ain't no fat on it. Ain't no fucking around, you know. It's good. The best of Muay Thai, the best of Jiu Jitsu, the best of wrestling, the best of boxing, in the shortest, tightest little package to win.
Right.
You
know?
Well, now I gotta jump in.
Yeah,
I gotta jump in right now. You know what I'm saying? You guys touched a little bit about that stuff on the Pelcast, and we'll get a little bit more in depth with some of the stuff that you train with them guys and some of your history, like especially the pictures on the back of the wall. I really want to get into because you sort of touch base with them. But when you and I were just sitting there kicking it on the couch and talking and stuff, and I think our listeners want to know a little bit more about your history,
right?
A little bit like where you grew up from and how you grew up, brother. You know, you were telling me you were from the barrio and everything, and a lot of people don't know that you're Mexican.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, they were just like, it's just a bad motherfucker that can kick the shit out of Shaggy and fucking Keegan and make him go to the ground, but they didn't know you were fucking Mexicano. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, like where'd you come from?
So, man, I can tell my mother was first generation American. My grandmother was from Guadalajara. My grandfather's from Reynosa, right over the border from Brownsville.
Yep. Yeah, down in the valley. Yeah.
You know, that's where everything, you know, that's where everything kind of came from. They came up to Detroit looking for work, you know, and back when all GM and Chrysler and all the, you know, Motor City was jamming, they were feeding everybody big work, and you know, that they were coming up and they didn't give a fuck if you were black, white, Indian, Chicano. They were gonna put your ass to work for days, like make them cars, you know. And so my grandfather was always, he was a scrappy dude. He boxed for a little while, but that really wasn't the influence for me. I'd have to pretty much jump to, like, everything was kind of normal then, and so I was born in Detroit, but around 12 years old, my brother was kidnapped.
Okay.
He was 5 years older than me, right? The kidnapping was you know, I think most of us, I think everybody right here would probably relate that there's a person in your family, an uncle, a father, you know, one of your tios or whatever that's off the fucking hook, that was the shit, was all about it.
Right.
And got mixed, and my mom was his baby sister, and you already know, baby sister's about to do anything. Oh, you need to store them keys up in the attic, go ahead. How many? 150? Bring them, it's okay. And then if he decides to get them motherfuckers, they're coming to get the motherfucker who they dropped that shit off at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my brother comes up missing behind this, you know, there's a whole, you can, it's the same story, no matter, you know what I'm saying? Without going all the way into all the details, but this happens at 12 years old, and the next thing, you know, we had to uproot and disappear, so we left Detroit and ended up in California. It took some time, it took some months. He was recovered, but he was recovered basically at the border. And whole nother thing. Can't really get, are we off air? We can talk about all kind of shit, but
all right, definitely. I know what you mean.
No, definitely.
But so anyway, that started this draw and insecurity of I'm gonna have to learn how to fucking defend myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the beginning for me of where, you know, it wasn't like, you know, just because somebody goes off and gets in a street fight or sees the movie Kickboxer or fucking, you know what I mean? I'm talking deep rooted, and I loved all that shit too. You know, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, all that shit. I love all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Van Damme, all that's great. Those were big influences, but there ain't no greater influence than an insecurity that makes you feel like that at any fucking moment, anything that you care about can be snatched from in front of you. You better be able to do something about it. Right? You fucking better be able to do something about it. And so for me, most people are happy with, you know, training up to, you know, one black belt, and, you know, they man, I have a black belt in Aikido, I have a black belt in Tang Soo Do, I train Muay Thai, you know, and now I'm a 2nd degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I train with Marco. You know, I went crazy looking for the answer. You know what I'm saying? This is what, and in the course of that, it did to me what everyone says it will do. You know, it changes you. It changes your perspective. It changes the type of man you are. It changes the type of husband you are. The amazing thing, you look at guys like Marco Ruas and Joe Moera, Rickson Gracie, all guys, we talk and we're all cool, right? The one thing that the common thread amongst these badass mindset, you know, these warriors, they all say the same shit. The fighting is easy. The hard part is becoming a better man. Yeah. And that's what's supposed to happen to you through the struggles and through the discipline and through the terrible positions that you get put in fighting, the pressure that's on you, all of it, the process, the training, every role, every day when I show up on the mat, there's 30 dudes, man, that want to break my arm or choke me out. You know what I'm saying? Every day.
Yeah.
They're younger, they're stronger, they're faster. Some of them even got some heart, but it's just not the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not the
Definitely.
same.
And what part of California did you guys move out to?
So we were in the Bay, we were in San Jose, and we bounced around San Jose, Oakland.
Oh shit.
Sacramento. We were all over the place. Like I went to, we tried to count it one time, but you know, we were on the move a lot. It went over between like 7th grade and like 11th grade, some like almost 40 different schools, right? In and out, in and out, in and out. Homeless shelters. Like my wife that you saw right there, I've been married to her. I met her in California. kidnapped her ass myself and brought her here.
That's awesome.
Straight up. But we met during that time, right? My wife and I. So that was 32 years ago.
Wow. Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just kids, right? But it
Yeah.
gets deep because she had just lost her father. Her father just passed away. I didn't know my dad, but we were on the fucking run. You know, shit was crazy. And now here we are in California, now fucked up, broken, homeless. So when I met my wife, this is no shit. I didn't own a pair of shoes. I was barefoot.
Yeah.
I slept under a fucking viaduct when I met this girl right here.
Wow.
30 something years ago, you know.
That's awesome, man.
Now we run fucking CBD farms, martial art academies, got real estate. We do our thing.
Good shit, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
we're
awesome.
blessed though. We're blessed. My wife, you know, the other thing was like I said, you worry about those people, right?
Yeah.
My sons, I got a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old and a 27-year-old that will whip a full-grown man's ass since they were 14. I got my wife, that pretty little motherfucker will fuck you up. She fights full-grown men. She's a black belt in Jiu Jitsu. There ain't many of them in Michigan. I think maybe 2 or 3.
I think so. If that.
She was one of the first.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah, man.
That's awesome, man.
So it ain't, you know, when I say it's a lifestyle and it'll change you, I think we're the greatest influence on young men, and something I've been tripping out on. Dude said, you guys ever trip out on Jordan Peterson? He's a trip. He said this, I caught this the other day. He was like, to be good isn't you can't be weak and be good, because you're not holding back nothing. He's like, you need to be dangerous as fuck and refrain your shit, be able to control it. Because if you're not holding back nothing, you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? If you're just weak and all passive, like, oh, you can't, man, fuck that. You better be able to tear shit up. You fucking better be able to tear shit up. And if you got family and you got kids and you got an old lady you give a fuck about, you better be able to hold it down. And if you can't, get your shit straight. That this is the world we're living in.
Oh no, definitely. Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to touch on the subject of the like being like insecure or whatever. I grew up doing, you know, gangbanging and all that crap, and like way back like 90s and shit like that. Like everywhere I went, everybody was starting shit.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And it was like this thing where I still suffer from the paranoia of that, even though I don't do none of that shit. Nobody's looking at me no more, whatever. I still feel that way.
Yeah.
I to me, danger is always around the corner. So I gotta be prepared.
Yeah, man.
And when me and my brother, we grew up watching professional wrestling, fans of it from kids and up. We used to go to this video store and we would rent out all the WWE or WWF, whatever, everything that they had in the pay-per-views and all that. So we ran out, and when we ran out, we were like, what the fuck do we do now? You know? And right next to that, they had the UFCs. So we picked up the UFC, started looking through them. Of course, the covers on those was just like the Ultiman, and it had names on the back.
Right.
But we saw the name Ken Shamrock, and we recognized him from wrestling.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, it's fucking Ken, man. This guy's in this shit.
Check that out.
So we rented the Ken one, watched it, whatever. Next thing you know, we're fucking full-blown MMA fans, which, of course, in the beginning, it's very confusing. You know, you don't understand shit, especially like, you know, the way that submissions. We knew sharpshooters and figure fours and whatever, but in here we saw something else, right?
Totally,
we saw groundwork and all that. We started understanding groundwork by doing that shit on each other. We'd watch the shit. We'd see, come here real quick. You know, we'd pull guard. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah.
You know, get the arm, go that way, you know, get this, get that. And little by little, we started showing ourselves shit like that. And that's how we started.
How do you think they figured it out? That's how they figured it out.
And at that time, this shit was nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere, man.
There was nothing. And that was for many, many years that me and this guy grew up, you know, loving it, training it that way. I mean, I remember VHSs of like Vitor Belfort and Frank Shamrock were gold to us. You know, and some of them were lame as shit, where it was Vitor showing you how to throw like a rolling uppercut for like fucking 20 minutes.
Right.
You know, and it shows it every angle.
Right,
Talking about when we sat there for those 20 fucking minutes and watched that goddamn uppercut because we're like, we got to learn this shit. It's Vitor
Right.
Belfort.
He uses it, yo.
Yeah, if he uses it, we're gonna do this shit. But I
No
mean,
doubt.
I remember when we finally started getting like a grip of it. We also met somebody who was in it, who was doing it. Which to us, we like had met somebody, whatever, that changed us in that way. And we started doing it. After that, like you said, things started changing, and it wasn't even where I was looking for trouble or fights anymore. I was like, look, if it comes to me, I'm prepared. I know how to clinch. I know this. I know, takedowns. If the guy's bigger, stronger, I could pull guard. I could work this. I could work a choke and all that shit. So
something's better than nothing, man. You got a plan.
Right.
You know what trips me out? People always ask because I don't think there's a bad martial art. But before we get into that, about the insecurity thing too, if you've ever sold dope, if you've ever been worried about getting your door kicked in, if you've ever if you've ever kicked in the door, if you've ever been on either side of that, if you've been put down in cuffs and you've been roughed the fuck up, if you know what I mean, there's another insecurity that rides with you too. You know what I mean? So
definitely,
all of those demons, all of those parts of you have to be dealt with. They have to be dealt with. And the most amazing thing is that on the mat, you learn. Like, for instance, I just didn't want to get off this subject of it, but I want to tell you about this little dude. You learn so much teaching these kids, right?
Yeah.
Little boys and getting caught. I got a couple of students that are just whipped, right? So this little girl's choking this dude out. And I'm talking little kids like 8, 9 years old. And she's fucking dude up. She just keeps catching his back and choking him out. He don't want to tap. Come on, man, you got to tap. Everyone taps. It's all good, blah, 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 right? We go through the whole thing. He knows better. He knows he's supposed to tap, but we're training. He understands he's supposed to tap. She's kicking his ass. You get tapped out. I pull him aside, like, listen to me. It's no big deal. This is training, man. You're learning. This is, you tap out so you can go 50 times, blah, blah, blah. And he says, nah, man. Nah. Why? He said, when I tap, it's me admitting that I made a mistake. I screwed up or I wouldn't be in this position. If I didn't screw up, I wouldn't have this chick's armor on my neck. I wouldn't have this problem. And he said, and the reason, I don't understand why. I'm not catching the why. I don't understand why I'm getting caught up. I don't know why. That's why I don't want to tap, because I should be punished.
Oh, good shit.
I should be getting fucked. I should be getting the shit choked out of me because I fucked up and I don't even know why. I don't even know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy, man. And so when you start looking at whether it's eliminating demons of insecurity, eliminating, it's you either get rid of bad shit or you find good shit, and then your filter changes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then all this stuff about perspective. How you see it is how you speak it, is how you hear it, is what you think, and then comes out of your mouth a different way.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. There's a process. So in training, you're showing up for challenges every single day, every day.
And wanted to add on to that, one of the biggest things is the male role model, the figure that you have in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You grew up without your dad. I grew up with my dad, but he was working fucking 60 hours at General Motors, man. So my pops was there as the disciplinarian. He wasn't there, he showed me how to hunt and stuff like that. But other than that, he was just the disciplinarian. If I fucked up at school, talked back to a teacher, didn't do my homework, whatever, I'm getting that ass whooped. And so as I got older, and especially for being a Hispanic male, it's hard to find positive role models out there for us because there wasn't a lot of us on TV at all at the time. There wasn't a lot of us in the movies other than bad guys.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, well, how are you supposed to? But then as you got older and you start going on your path, like you said, you start going on your path and you start realizing there's more shit out there and to understand, like you said, about your insecurities. There's no way to handle that as a kid if nobody's teaching you how to handle those emotions. You know what I'm saying? You just straight turn to violence because that's the only emotion that you know
for sure.
that you sort of can control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like I says, I learned a lot. Like I says, I did learn from my father, but then when I got into pro wrestling, I trained with Dan Severin, well, the Beast, you know what I'm saying, here in Coldwater, Michigan. And then him and another big friend of mine, man, Monty Brown, the alpha male, he played pro football, and then he got a championship ring, and he got a Super Bowl ring. So he played for the Bills and the Patriots. But anyways,
Monty got a Super Bowl ring?
Yeah, Monty got a Super Bowl ring for the Patriots.
I don't know about that at all.
Yeah, and then he got a championship ring for the Bills. So, but check it out, man.
How much?
Fucking Dan needed some guys to roll around with, and we're you see me, I'm a big dude.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Even before my back was jacked
I don't know,
up.
Manny. The first time I met you, I was like, this guy's small. Right here.
This little guy.
Look at the little guy.
Small, rare,
Toss him in the back of the truck like nothing.
Hey, I was thinking, Manny, when you said about not having no influences, man, I was like, damn, I was like, fuck, there was Richie Valens, La Bamba, right? Richie was everything. I was like, we had Richie. Wait a minute.
But everybody didn't really like Richie. Who did they
know.
like? They like
Bob, man. Bob.
Yeah.
Bob, Richie. Damn it.
Even Miklo was güero.
For real, man.
No, you know what though, Manny? You know who was like the main one, like in our neighborhood? There was two motherfuckers, and it was Julio Cesar Chavez and Chalino Sanchez.
Yeah, Chalino.
Yeah,
man, those motherfuckers were the only ones, you know.
No doubt.
Yeah. But they didn't, other than boxing, they didn't get a lot of TV time. They weren't on talk shows.
Fucking Cantinflas, man. That was
hell yeah, Cantinflas. What's up?
You had Univision, you know what I'm saying? You could see them.
Telemundo.
Telemundo. That was later on, and then we just started watching it for the weather girls and shit, and the video and them games that last all weekend and shit. Those talk show games. But you know what I mean? Like I said,
Sábado Gigante.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Siempre en domingo.
So yeah, man. You know, it was just that, you know, we really didn't have a lot of people. And then, like I said, when they did the Richie, when they did La Bamba, that started sort of breaking the doors down. It started opening the doors for us. You know, especially the one that stands out for me the most would have to be Edward James Olmos. You know
American Me and
American Me.
By Me. Yeah, he was in some shit.
You know, Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, Stand and Deliver.
Everything that he did, he played so many different roles.
Yeah.
You know, positive and bad roles.
Yeah.
But
he's the veterano though. There ain't no more like him.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He tried to bring out the best characters so that we could relate to it. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing, I give props now to George Lopez on a lot of the movies that he's been doing.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, seriously, I'm not trying to be on your jock or nothing like this, but Professor Steve, the day that we met and we connected, man, and you were rolling around with them fools and kicking their ass and everything, I mean, that was mad cool. But you were respectful, and they were real respectful for you because that's how they are. You know what I'm saying? Shaggy and Keegan were mad respectful.
Yeah, for sure.
And they respected what you were doing, and that they explained what they were going to do, and they didn't want to make fun of anything that you were doing. And you understood that, and you still gave them an opportunity. And you were one of the only ones in that whole Detroit area that opened your doors to them.
Yeah.
Because they found other places, and other places were like, nah, man, nah.
Damn.
Nah, that shit. When I forget what's the producer kid or whatever, the guys that were calling in the beginning to set it up, you know. He told me, he was like, look, he goes, we're really having a hard time finding. I was like, find it for what? Like what's the deal? He goes, well, you know, they want to film the person who, you know, is gonna do the like show the shit or whatever. I'm like, and somebody, what are they afraid that like are they gonna look bad doing their shit? Like they don't trust their shit, or is it a thing where, you know what I mean? Like, because you're about to get put on blast if you don't. People snatch you up. There's a dude out there, this McDojo on Instagram.
I follow that shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he'll put your ass on blast if your shit's whack. And you know what's funny is he jumped on there, but he was like, "This is the shit that I love," and blah 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 blah. But he wasn't trying to say that it. You know what I mean? He didn't post it like some bullshit. Because it ain't. You know what I mean? I use that shit in real life. You know what I mean? It's real shit. So it ain't and this is the thing. Like I don't compete. I don't go run around doing tournaments and all of that. That's never been my thing. For me, the training was about developing my self development. Like, you know what I mean? I needed something. And then, you know, it's a good, it's one of the, you know, I want to say one of the things that comes out of it, you know, is you end up with a skill. Look, man, if you go stand at the free throw line 5 days a week for 10 hours a day, fuck, you're going to be a hell of a, you know, you're going to throw some ball.
Yeah.
You show up on the mat. I live on the fucking mat, man. What do you think's going to happen? You know what I mean? You're going to get good at that shit.
Yeah.
You do it. It's my life. Is what I do all day.
You know what's one thing that happened to me when I first started like getting into mixed martial arts, or NHB as they used to call it, right? Like I still, of course, I love all sports. I love football, I love basketball, all that stuff, right? But I used to love it more than what I do now. I used to like think Emmitt Smith was like the greatest ever, and just football players like that, you know, Michael Irvin, Barry Sanders, and shit like that. But once I got into MMA, I realized like Pat Miletich wasn't making that much money.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker was busting his ass.
Yeah.
I mean, like you go back, and I'm talking like when I want to say when me and Ash got into it, the first live pay-per-view that we didn't watch it live, but that we could have seen was I believe it was Frank Tito, right, Ash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Frank Tito.
Frank Tito, the pay-per-view that was happening at the time when we were like full fans by the time, you know. And when I saw that these dudes go through all the shit that they go through, they train, they go in there with broken fingers and toes and, you know, fucked up legs and whatever, and they don't get paid shit, you know. All the love started going to these guys. So I'm like, man,
100%.
These motherfuckers like really shit out of each other. You know what I mean? They really work hard. They train as a team. They work together. Meanwhile, this guy's foot hurts and he's getting paid millions and he can't get on the field for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Which how much a football player play. And I'm not dissing football. I'm not saying,
I hear you.
know, I'm not dissing. But once I discovered that, like everything started going to mixed martial arts. All my love, you know what I mean? And I started pushing everything away. You know, everything away. And the more I dove into it, the more I fucking loved it, the more I discover. Until this motherfucking day, new shit keeps coming up on it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it just never stops.
Yeah. No, yeah.
It's amazing, right?
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
amazing. You know, it's funny, man. It is truly one of those things where the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Yes.
Right. Fuck yeah.
And it takes learning a ton to do a little.
Yep.
You know, so it's funny, but even now, rolling with like I have my own black belts under me now, like guys that that trained under me for 10 years and got their black belts, right? Training with those guys, I think I have 8 or 9 plus you, I don't know, between 8 and 10 brown and black belts, right? Like the guys have been training for over a decade, you know, and together and training together. You start to shrink the things that you do down into a really small, refined group of sort of principle-based techniques that everybody knows your game, but nobody can stop you from executing it because you've mastered these few things that you do very well. And one of my grandmasters, Francisco Mansour, he was one of the only guys, only non-Gracie family members to be awarded all of his belts from white to professor from Helio Gracie. Right?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Holy
this is my
shit.
grandmaster, right? He's the master of Joe Moera. He's the one that gave Joe Moera his belt. He's the head of the top of our tree, you know. And he said, because I was about techniques, right? Like, man, I'm working on this, I'm working on that, and I want to impress him. I want him to look at me and do, you know, him to be proud or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, man, if you only master even one thing, you're still a master, no?
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
fucking brilliant. You know what I mean?
You know,
Shit.
you know what? I always used to think like that. Like as far as like mastering the basics, I think a master of the basics is a fucking deadly ass motherfucker.
You ain't that exactly right. Exactly. Right.
Which, you know what I mean?
100%. 100. I know exactly what you mean. Look, I use 4 principles for the top game, 4 principles for the bottom game,
Right.
and 4 principles for passing the guard. So, and what I do in my mind is I eliminate everything I know is technique or strategies because they're endless. There's going to be a million modifications tactically. There's going to be a million choices all the fucking time. Once you're someplace good, I would rather focus on just get me to someplace good where I can employ any strategy I want. So I only have 4 techniques. I have 4 things that I make sure I do if I'm on top of you. I do 4 things if I'm on the bottom of you, and 4 things if I'm trying to pass your legs.
Right.
To
Right.
get to side mount, whatever, whatever position. And that came from that's our system of fundamentals is made up of that. And that's basically Helio Gracie, Francisco Mansour, Joe Moera, and to me. And the crazy thing is like I trained with Hickson Gracie, right? Who's Helio's son, right? So I got to take my students, train at his house. We hung out. We've been doing that for a while now, known him for a while.
That sigh I did was like the hater.
Yeah. You don't want fuck
You know
that.
what I'm talking about?
I noticed it. I just didn't want to point it out.
It's okay. I was gonna ignore it. I was about to hit him.
I was the hater. I was letting the hater out and shit.
You let it out. I was about to hit him with his full name. I was about to hit him.
Hey,
Oh shit.
people don't even know what his full name is, brother.
Okay.
That's
Can I tell him?
That's classified information, man.
Okay. All right.
It was.
It was.
Maybe in a little bit.
It was until what happened? What happened, Professor Steve?
He let the cat out the bag, brother.
Oh,
how did he do that? Explain how he did that.
Because ain't no one ever asked him since he was a young man. Since before he was a man is the last time someone even asked him what it stood for. And the first thing I wanted to know is what it stood for. I think that was I thought that was a great question.
He's right. If everybody looks back at all of our talks hits, nobody's ever once asked KFT what KFT stands for, except for Professor Steve. And Professor Steve is about to let the cat out the bag.
He got me on that power double, dropped an elbow to the chin.
I'm gonna let him have it, but I'm not gonna give the backstory. We're gonna keep that separate. That'll be for the next episode.
You got to give at least the end of it. You know what I'm saying? So
I understand. Okay.
You know.
Okay. You know, I got that dude on my Instagram.
Oh,
See,
I do. Yeah.
The fuck? Oh shit.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Growing up,
We got
me and the homies. We used to fuck around with rap music and shit. We used to throw spit shit on beats and all that shit. You know what I'm talking about? And I was trying to come up with the rap name, and I was like about 12 and on. You know, I've always, I don't know if you guys could tell, but I've always been a fan of horror movies from like a little kid. I swear. I know it's hard to tell. And I used to watch everything, man, because video store had like what was it, Ash? Like fucking 5 movies for $1 for 99 cents Wednesdays.
Yeah. Definitely.
So we used to go out there and rent the shelves.
Yeah.
Like $10 together and go rent the whole fucking wall. Okay. And I pretty much went through the whole horror section, and I was watching this movie called 976 Evil. And growing up, man, I still do. I got a fucked up face, you know what I mean? I had acne like a motherfucker, you know what I mean? That's how it was. Chinga su madre. Born ugly, it's all good. It's all good, you know.
All good.
And there's this part in that movie where this guy started to get all these holes in his face, and somebody says like, "What the fuck you looking at, crater face?" You know what I'm talking about? So I was like, crater face, and I was like, you know what? That actually sounds pretty dope. It's like Leatherface and shit.
Oh, that's right.
You know, I was like, crater face. This kind of sounds like a serial killer, and I got my face all fucked up. I think I'm gonna go with that. And then felt like I needed something else to it, like it needed a special touch, right? And I used to watch Van Damme movies like a motherfucker, man. Growing, like I said, from a little kid up. And Tong Po, anyone who's ever seen Kickboxer, man, Tong Po is my shit, man. Like to this day, that motherfucker's still my hero. You know what I mean?
Even though he was a rapist, a kidnapper, and a rapist.
Hey,
come on, Manny.
Fuck.
Hey, but you know what? So is Pepe Le Pew.
This is true.
Yeah, that's true.
This is
That's
true.
true, man.
He's gangster as fuck, but he's a fucking rapist, man. Little skunk rapist.
He sprays them hoes.
Open the pew. He misunderstood. He was just misunderstood. You know what I'm saying? I never seen penetration. They didn't have penetration back then, so I think he was just
good at hiding it
with the kisses on the arm.
Yeah.
Hiding it.
You know
I will.
Nah,
But
man.
either way, man,
He snatched him up.
I took Crater Face. I changed the C to a K. Added tongue to it for Tong Po, so it's Crater Face Tong.
Oh,
That's
shit.
what it is.
There it is.
And I used to use that shit for my rap name and whatever, and I let it go years ago, and Ash brought it back to life.
Yeah. Fuck
There
yeah.
you go. Talk shit.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
Tong. So
You think it's fresh, Steve, or no? Be honest.
No, listen, because through him, Tong Po, because I agree, he was one of the baddest. I know he was fucked up for what he did, but I agree. Dude introduced Muay Thai to the world. He put everybody on notice.
Yup.
Straight up.
Mhm.
He just did.
You know.
He did.
You know what's crazy? Me and Ash, like I said, we watched Van Damme like a motherfucker. That was like one of our main movies, whatever. As a kid, I didn't know, like, of course you knew karate, right? But I really didn't know that there was like fighting styles.
Mhm.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't know that Muay Thai existed. And I, as a kid, like growing, we'd get in fights and shit. I would always throw knees and elbows. You know what I mean? I would always grab kids and, you know, throw knees to the gut, bring the face. I would always do that, but I had no idea that I was doing it. It wasn't something that whatever. And when we started like really getting into martial arts, you know, I discovered like, holy shit, this whole time it's been Muay Thai.
Been doing this.
Yeah.
Muay Thai out.
It's been Muay Thai and it comes from Van Damme. You know, I didn't notice that shit as a kid. Not until I got older and I started learning about martial arts, which is just crazy to think about. Like that one fucking kid that pulled my hair, that I grabbed him behind the neck and I brought him down and kneed him. You know what I'm talking about?
We're doing that shit.
And I was like 6 years old doing that shit, you know, but
all right.
crazy.
Well, you know I'm a movie buff, so I got a question for the two Van Damme lovers right here.
Oh,
Mr.
shit.
KFT and Ash, who never watches hardly any movies.
Bullshit.
What's the first movie, the first US movie?
Black Eagle.
Black Eagle.
No, the first US movie that Van Damme was in.
Oh shit, the one where the fake Bruce Lee is at.
No, it's called
That's
Sidekicks.
not the name of the movie coming on.
Sidekicks. No.
Never Surrender.
No.
Yes, it
I
is.
know it, Manny.
Hold
You
on.
ready?
What is it, Professor?
Wait.
No retreat, no
Fuck.
surrender.
Retreat, no
Oh,
surrender.
There it is. There it is.
And he was the bad guy. He whipped dude's
Yeah, he was
dad's
the bad guy.
ass
He
in the
lived
dojo.
In the white suit. In the white
doing the
suit.
split.
The white suit with slick back hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking fresh. That good shit.
Hey,
That's where
hey,
RVD
listen.
got it from, and he'll never admit it.
That's how I got my wife, man. No shit. I used to wear my hair like that.
Yeah,
Am I
slick
lying?
back. I thought madre.
Van Damme?
I was Van Damme. And look, I learned to throw this double jump round kick where we'd be walking down the street and there would be trees and shit. We'd like pick a leaf
Oh,
and
shit.
have her point at the
Hell
leaf,
yeah.
and I would kick that shit.
That's fucking fresh, man.
He's all-
Yeah.
No
Because
shit.
you were
Helicopter
barefoot
kick.
anyways, so fuck it.
Fuck
You
it.
know what I'm saying?
That's how I got my wife, bro. But no, it's a little bit different. I'd be like, hey, pick a beer. Then You know,
Kick a beer right here.
Bring a beer, any beer.
damn.
Any beer.
She
Pick a
was
beer,
like,
any beer.
she was like, that's great, but beer don't drink back.
As a trip.
what's up, man. But yeah,
that's
fucking,
cool, man.
I
I
gotta
can't
ask you
believe
about.
you didn't know it, man. Professor Steve knew it. He was
Man, I was
waiting
close.
for it.
I was
He was
close.
waiting. You were close. Man,
Wait a minute though. I really thought it was Black Eagle though, wasn't it?
No, man. No retreat, no surrender. For sure.
It was Black Eagle. Like he wasn't like main
Black
cast.
Eagle.
Yes, he
Black
was.
Eagle.
He was main
Don't make
cast,
me call
bro.
Google.
Dude,
Bro,
ask
I'm telling you, that's the first
Van
U.S.
Damme's first
movie.
American release.
and it's no retreat, no surrender.
Like double
No
team
retreat, no
with Rodman.
surrender.
I told you
Yeah, that was the first.
that was the
The
first. First
Hey.
movie. So
Wait,
first
what did I
movie
win?
he was ever in.
I'm gonna teach you a
I
new move.
told
That's how
you.
you win.
Yeah.
You should hang your heads down low. Sing y'all. You should be
No,
ashamed.
dude,
King
I
Yao,
knew
he
it
said.
was. Yo, hey, have you heard of Fuck the Fuck Off Part 2?
You're the writer, huh?
Oh shit.
Ash, I got
I'm just kidding, man.
You got jokes coming on. No.
Ash, I got something for you though, Ash.
What's up, man?
I got something for you. I was just, this is no shit. I was cleaning out my basement, like cleaning up some stuff down there, and I got like music stuff down there, and I got old training shit down there, and I used to decorate my gym with autographed of all my favorite fighters. Like I had BJ Penn's walkout shirt autographed with all of his book autographed, his fucking Boss Root, and like all the old school. It was all, my whole gym was in shadow boxes, right? So I still have, I donated a bunch. I gave some to one of my students. He was opening his own gym, so I gave him a bunch of that shit. And then I just found, I think I got a Marco Huas autographed one of his tees. I got a Dan Henderson original.
Oh shit.
I got a something else, but Semir, Gina Carano. I'll look and see. I got
shit.
Yeah, I had Chuck Liddell. I'll have to see. I know for sure I got the ones I saw Dan Henderson. I think I got a Tito Ortiz down.
Oh, dude,
a lot of those guys train with Joe and them. So send me your address and whoever, and I'll send them to you guys. You fuck with them, you know.
Oh fuck,
Fuck yeah, man.
Thank you, man, for real. That's what.
Yeah.
Up, man.
Because you guys love it. I had no idea that you guys, you know, were into it like that. I got shit that I'd love to see go to a good home.
Man, thank you.
Yeah,
that's the shit, man. You're a homie for life, man, for real.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What just happened? You see what just happened?
I'll probably go. I'll probably go over there in Detroit and probably show you some moves and shit, bro.
Yeah, come teach me something.
Teach you the rubber guard.
Yeah. I love that.
Hey,
I love to learn.
Hey, bro, I'll teach you how to choke me out.
Teach me. Yeah,
like, that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Ash is like, holy shit, he learns fast.
She learns fast. Damn.
Oh shit. Yo, no, this because this one time my brother was just sparring, like, you know, grappling, rolling around with one of our homies, and my brother caught him on the Kimura. Right? And right when my brother was gonna start cranking, he's like, oh, hold on, let me teach you how to do it right. And
I was like, really, motherfucker? I got it on.
I got it on. Yeah. That's one of, just so you know, that's one of the things that when somebody's caught, that's a natural response, man. Like, oh, hold on, let me show you how to fix that real quick. Like, yeah, you're caught up.
Right.
That's, you know, you ain't got to show me nothing. Let me finish. Let me finish.
What you tap out, you can show me. You can fix it.
You show me in a minute.
Right.
Tap out.
Hey, Steve. So in your like jujitsu and stuff, how heavy do you go on leg locks? Because I love leg locks. You know what I mean? That's my shit.
You know, it originally Marco was the original.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says. There wasn't nobody that was shooting, taking motherfuckers down, Muay Thai-ing you, not just boxing you and not just kickboxing you. He was Muay Thai. He was elbowing, headbutting, foot stomping, clinching, fucking taking you down, elbows, big slams, ground and pound, and ripping your fucking heels off and leg locking you all day. That was that he did ground. He was the first complete mixed martial artist.
Right.
And things have evolved, but you know,
I'm not trying to say that he wasn't, but it's because this is like probably my favorite fighter ever. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it was Ken Shamrock. Remember the first one against the UFC one? Remember?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
Smith.
but he wasn't a
but
complete fighter. I understand that.
yeah,
Marco
yeah,
was. You know what I'm saying?
yes. Well, he was a shoot fighter though, so
Exactly.
Yeah.
he had enough, but not refined enough. There was a huge gap in their skill set, in their ability.
Oh yeah.
And
Isn't it fucking crazy how Hoist beating Shamrock
yeah,
or whatever changed the fucking world of martial arts forever?
forever, man.
Crazy, man.
Isn't that insane? How that him submitting Ken
Mhm.
fucking changed the course of shit.
Yeah,
Like,
for
isn't
sure.
that shit crazy? Because everyone
Yeah.
looked at Ken and said, "This is what a man looks like that murders you."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this guy, whatever, and he ends up submitting him and beating him, and that just changed everything.
You know, Hoist was literally the babysitter
Yeah, yeah.
at the time he fought UFC. He was the
Right.
babysitter. He wasn't the fucking fighter. Hickson was already kicking motherfuckers up in Japan.
Yeah.
He was already doing shit. It would have been a slaughter if him or Henzo or any of the other brother, cousins or whatever they were throwing down. They put Hoist was an awesome choice from Horian. And if you haven't, I mean, I don't want to put their business out there, but Hickson put some out in his book, about all the shit that was going on and why they used Hoist instead of somebody else, because Horian could control his ass,
Mhm.
Yeah.
He had a contract. He didn't speak any English and shit. They were talking about all kinds of shit. Like they got him on TV nodding, right? Yeah. While his brother's the only one that speaks English and shit. He signing contracts. Know what the fuck he was doing. But
Oh shit.
there's all kinds
man.
of gotcha moments in that bullshit. But Hoist was an amazing choice to make history with.
Speaking of that, I got a question for you. And we had asked this to, and I can't remember his name. The guy from Chicago, Ash,
Shoney?
Oh, Shoney Carter. Shoney Carter. Yeah, we had him on
Shoney Carter. We had Shoney Carter on the show, and he was funny as fuck, man. Oh my god.
too much.
But I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked him. Which fighter that you've seen on TV or whatever, who was a real asshole, who like legit seriously was like that, instead of being a better man and this and that, whatever, but like legit, he was just fucked up in the head, man.
Tank Abbott. No, I'm just kidding.
I got stories about Tank and Joe Moore at the early UFCs, how they all met Chemo and how all that shit, Chemo training under Joe, and
Yeah.
Anyway, there's crazy histories about it. I'm trying to think. Man,
Those crazy histories is what the fuck me and Ash are all about.
yeah.
We love that
Definitely.
shit.
Well, let me think. I'll keep thinking of who was an asshole so I can answer that question. But
Okay.
I can tell you that the way Joe tells it, it was during the tryouts for UFC. So, these guys were here, man, posting shit in newspapers,
Right.
looking for fights and shit. And Joe, he came here with the understanding he was going to be running academies for the Gracie family and was going to make X amount of dollars and blah, blah, blah. And shit didn't go the way financially it was supposed to go. And so he hooks up with this dude who's like, jiu-jitsu is fucking amazing, Joe. He's an attorney who's been training with Joe and Hickson both, right? He's like, let me put some ads in the paper, man. I'll put up $1,000 to anybody that can kick your ass. Like anybody that shows up, right? If they can beat you, and here's the deal, you can't punch or kick them. You can slap them, but you got to use jujitsu, and we'll get you some students and shit. So Joe's like, fuck it, man. I'm trying to get my wife here from Brazil. I'm like, I got to make a living. This dude's willing to set this shit up. I'm a fighter. Like, that's what I'm here to do. Fuck it. Right. So he's like, dudes would show up and he'd fucking, do his thing, take them down, break them off, arm bar them, choke them, whatever. And fucking dudes would go get back in line and come again. Right. And so Joe would be like, tell the guy like, yo, they get one turn, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's breaking dudes off back to back and shit. And so He's like, so now I got to do it in his voice because his English is crazy. He goes, so for when the guy come over here, he wanna come again, try swing on me, try grab on me. The guy wanna put me down. You think I'm gonna lay there? Nah, I'm gonna lay there on his head. Then I'm gonna take his arm for me. Then I take his leg for me, and I hold, and he can tap all day. I'm gonna hold, so he don't wanna come back no more.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I love
That's
that
the kind of shit.
That's some shit, man.
That's the
That's
kind
that
of
old
shit
school.
he's silly with it. But you know,
That's
he
beautiful.
the Gracies were crazy as fuck too, though. Helio used to put, you know, if you train this other martial art, you're a coward and you're this and you're that. Come to the Gracie Cat. They were brilliant marketers of it, and the shit's legit.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely, man, definitely.
It's amazing. But anyway, the Tank Abbott shit. I think it was Chemo and fucking his manager, you know, Joe San, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Dude ended up in prison for some.
Yeah, and then he kill somebody or some shit.
They did some crazy shit. There's like a double murder, kidnapping, raping, terror. They went on some ripping ass.
He went from
shit.
UFC to Austin Powers to prison.
Yeah.
Oh.
For real, like what the fuck?
He did. He was a mess out there with that bullshit. But
Awesome
him and
shit.
Chemo, Joe was in the lobby of the hotel where all the fighters were staying in between the tryouts.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Tank Abbott and damn, man, I don't want to say the wrong dude and fuck up the story, but somebody that was cool as fuck with Tank Abbott and there was like, it was a fight squad. It was like a team, like 9 motherfuckers, right?
Okay.
So Joe and the dude that Joe was with, they're all there in the tryouts, and there was like some kind of beef between Tank and one of the dudes. And so, you know, they all kind of turned at the dude Joe was with, like they was gonna fuck up this other kid from Brazil. And Joe was like, yo, you guys ain't you fucking with him, you're fucking with me. I know it still ain't fair, but fuck it. Like, we're gonna get down. And then behind Joe was Joe San and Chemo. They were like, yo, you guys want to be bitches and try and jump? We're all fighters. Let's get it right. Let's all get it. So then they jumped. And so that was when Joe met Chemo, and Chemo became Joe's student. And
shit, all right.
that was before he fought Royce Gracie. So there was a lot of dissension between Joe and the Gracies at that time, because then Joe took on a student like Chemo who was going to fight Royce. And the only fucking chance he was going to have is if a real Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu cat got their hands on his ass and straightened him out.
Wow. Yeah.
And Joe never held back from it. Still doesn't hold back. He'll be here. I don't know, maybe in a month, like sometime next month. He comes and hangs out for like a week. Comes to my school, kicks my ass, and you know, trains with my students and does all.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, but you'll come by, man. He come fuck with us when he's here. He just chills. We'll go out. Whatever.
That's cool, man.
Or we'll get him if you want. He'll do the podcast.
Dude,
Damn,
fuck
awesome,
all day
man.
long.
shit. Fuck yeah.
You guys want to do something like that? When he's here, I'll get him on. We could even do it at the gym live or something where he's got shit going on.
That would be the shit.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Man,
All about it.
Shit, man.
Yeah, man. That's like my daddy. he'll do anything.
Man,
He's a good man.
Fuck, man.
He's a real good man. Anyway, so the story goes, that's how they met. He jumped up to him, and then because Joe trained him up before he was going to fight Royce, they were like, what the fuck, Joe? You're Brazilian, you're da 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 da. And he was like, yo, this dude stuck up for me and I'm down with him. And it's the same shit. Hickson and Marco Ruiz have always had this pressure feud, you know, that everybody in the MMA world knows about.
Yeah.
And Marco's a savage and Hickson's a savage, and I'm friends with both of them. And you know, it would be amazing. It'll never happen, but it would have been amazing to see them for that fight to go down.
Yeah.
So we've had those conversations, you know, and it's amazing. Those guys they're savages, man.
No, definitely. You gotta love the Gracies.
Yeah, of
That
course.
shit.
Of
That
course.
shit was crazy. How in the beginning, like everyone thought that like the dudes that look like Chemo. Who was a good example? Is it Jeff Monson? Is that his name, Ash?
Maybe Munson, I think so.
Yeah,
Munson.
the bald dude, the one with the tattoos.
Yeah,
just
with the
Munson.
tattoos. Like everyone thought that those were gonna be the killers in the UFC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like an outsider saw it, this dude in pajamas beat him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's
No
that's what
doubt.
everyone thought an MMA fighter would look like. And no,
Mhm.
man, like hell no.
No.
You know
But
what I mean?
their jaw dropped when they saw how he beat them and how he broke them down. They're like, what the fuck? And then he started using his gi and shit.
Yeah.
They're like,
you know what though?
Because the UFC guys were like, the commentators at the time were like, that's gonna hinder him, man. They can grab a hold of that. They can
Yeah.
this and that. And he ended up flipping the script on him. And I was just like, because I'm old enough to remember them first couple UFCs, like when they had no weight division.
Yeah.
And like you said, when they had to fight what, like 3 times in one night just to win the pot, which was what, like
10 grand or 50
$50,000.
grand, yeah, something.
Yeah, man, for fucking 5 fights. It's just like, holy shit, man. I was
You
just
know
like,
what though, Manny? Me and Ash grew up with haters on that shit. Like people used to say that shit was lame. That why are they hugging? Why are they on the ground? Why is he grabbing his arm? Real men punch. And man, you have no idea how many times we had to take somebody down and choke them out to let them know this is what the fuck is happening, you stupid ass. Right? I used to do it at work and shit. They'd be like, "Oh, you're into that shit? Oh, the huggers,
The huggers,
dry humpers."
Shit.
Like
Dry
for real,
humpers.
like the UFC was not popular. Like people didn't like it the way that they do now. They didn't respect that shit. And we grew up with a lot of that hatred.
Until them dudes start dropping them elbows on the top of their head and they start nailing them, then they were like, "Ooh, shit!"
You know what though?
Come up bleeding and shit. They were like, "Are the dude's arms almost broke? He can't move his arm." That's when they realized that shit was real, man. That's when they were like, "Oh shit, we need to learn some extra shit."
No, but the scary thing though that I tell people about MMA, like the haters and shit, especially the grappling, right? It gets hated on the most in MMA. I tell them, like, I bet you, Professor Steve, I bet you your grip is tremendous. I bet you if you grab my wrist, I bet you I probably can't get you off. And I always tell people, you know how that feels? It fucking sucks, bro. Because you're like, get the fuck off me.
Yeah.
And you control. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, even more than the grip, I think it's man, you harness gravity, right? Gravity is this force multiplier that's going to turn your body into this 5,000 pound monster.
Holy shit!
It's going to hug and drag.
Describe something that I've always tried to figure out how the fuck to describe.
It's true. You're right.
You just put it in the words that I've always been looking for. That's what the fuck that is, Ash. My bad. I didn't mean to cut in, but holy shit.
Let me explain more to you. You want to know the truth? This is why. Listen,
is dope.
This is why only 4 techniques and everything else is a strategy, because inside of those 4 techniques, you and your body, if you're playing from the top position standing or trying to pass, or you're on top in general, you need to harness gravity, right? You can't be all fucking contorted in a shitty position. You need to be as level to the floor as possible so that gravity kicks in and your body's force is multiplied by gravity. So the more stable your base, the better and level your position, the more parallel to the ground, the more gravity kicks in. So in practicing jiu-jitsu, you learn to connect to them through a hold or a hug, not necessarily a grip. Sometimes a grip on the gi or whatever, but in general, you shouldn't need the gi. You should be able to contort your body into a position of holding to harness the gravity to increase the force, and that's where the power comes from. And on the bottom, right, if force looks like this at its strongest, on the bottom, you need momentum. So you need to be as round as possible so that as force comes down, force hits a slide and becomes momentum, so that the person on bottom can receive force well if they have a good guard and they know how to round off, versus the person on top being as parallel and as steady like a landing airplane as possible to generate gravity's force of impact, right? So jiu-jitsu becomes way simpler when as far as in understanding how to do it. I'm not saying to get good at it. I'm saying to understand how to do it. It requires you to maintain that you're the weaker, smaller person of the other person. That means that anytime you're using strength, you're fucking up. You're doing something wrong. You better fix your position, change your angle. You need a new strategy, because whatever way that they're going, you should be helping them go, not pulling them. Like you watch somebody try to pass their guard. Let me ask you, you guys played around. Okay, you're on the bottom. Somebody starts coming at you. First thing you do is what? You put your hands up and what? Try to stop them, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
okay,
I'm on the
check
bottom.
this out. Here comes force. Yeah, here comes force. Here's me on the bottom. Here comes force. I'm trying to stop force.
Yeah,
nah, man, I'm supposed to have momentum against force. Remember, not force against force. Here comes force. I'm supposed to be momentum and help it go, not stop it, help it go. And this is the problem of people understanding how to change that force into momentum. And this is the real practice. This is the other problem. Two guys slap hands, bump fists, they're gonna roll. Here we go. One guy's trying to pass guard. The other guy's trying to sweep him and submit him. Yeah?
Yeah.
You agree or disagree? That's two guys on offense. Football don't work like that. Soccer don't work like nothing, no fighting. One guy on offense, one guy on defense. Now we're talking, because now that guy has to focus on is stopping the pass from happening.
Right.
And not trying to submit, not trying to go offense. He's learning his defense on the ground. You know what I mean? Things have to be put in perspective. You can't have two things on offense and wonder why it's two fucking bulls banging heads and nobody's progressing. Nobody's really learning well. You got one dude trying to sweep and submit, another dude trying to pass. That's both guys on offense. How about this? You try and kick my ass. I learn to not let you.
Right. Yeah. Fuck yeah, man.
Not I kick your ass. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do nothing to you, but you ain't doing shit to me. Learn that first. Then you can do anything.
That's good shit, man.
You can take risks.
Bitch, man. Now I owe money.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll send you my shit. I'll send you my shit. That's a private lesson right there.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful shit, man. Thank you.
No, that really is.
So, Professor Steve,
I can fix you real quick.
Got some guys out here that are listening, or females, and they're thinking about wanting to get into it as a sport, as really competing and stuff like that. Or is there like with WWE, there's a cutoff age now, and a lot of people don't know it. It's like 28. If you're over 28 and you're not already established from Japan or Mexico or something like that, they're not gonna fuck with you, because by the time it takes them to train you the way they want you to be trained, and then they want to get another 6-7 years of action figures out of you and clothing and everything, their investment. What age do you suggest if somebody comes to you and it's like, hey, my son's 17, my son's 18, my son's 28, he wants to get into this, he's liked it since he was a younger guy, he's been an amateur wrestler or whatever in high school, this and that, but he really wants to start training to be like on the UFC or Pride or whatever, you know what I mean? Like what age do you recommend?
You know what's funny, man? I'll tell you what, we were doing, like, here in Michigan when MMA first became legal, we were there for the very first MMA fights, cornering fighters, helping train fighters, doing, when I'm talking the very first ones like Meadowbrook at the Palace, the first cage fights, MMA fights that were sanctioned, legal MMA fights that were publicized where you could go, we were there, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, man, you saw people where you would assume they were past their prime, let's say over 35, but had the skill set from their experiences where they looked to be the most dominant, right? You had natural talents that were coming in an age bracket to blow your mind. 19-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22. It's still happening now. That just have this natural ability where fighting makes sense. Their ability to harness gravity, the way that they can generate power with their body and their swiftness. All the things that some people can work really hard at and get good at training, and some people shit just comes natural to them. Yeah. And then check this out. Then there's the type of person, no matter what age, too young, too old, that would say, like Hickson, asking Hickson straight up at this kind of guy, this kind of question, like, you know, how do you get to this point of fighting this ability and what age and when? He said this. His father told him every day, "You're invincible. Can't nobody beat you. You ain't never gonna lose. No. You're invincible. Listen to me, son. You're invincible."
Damn.
And fucking convinced his ass of that shit. You represent the family. You're the warrior of the family. You're meant to shine for your whole life. This is impossible for you to lose. You're amazing. You know that? You're the most incredible fighter that's ever lived. You're going to make history, son. You're the one. Fuck. Right?
Yeah.
Chingón ese, like El Capone ese. That kid, you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
You're going to
that's
fuck.
what,
That's
that's
how
what
you're
Tyson
gonna,
used to say. He
Yeah.
thumbing me.
Yeah.
He's thumbing me.
This is it. So, but so I don't think there's an a, you know, I don't know how to answer that question, because we watch people start in their 60s, start in their 70s, and become.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? And we see people that, whether they're coming in, some, like, you know, we had the lady Sandy. She passed away a couple years ago. That was training with a friend of ours. Man, I think she started in her late 60s and trained into her 80s or something until she died, man. So like a week before she died, and got down. She fucking got down and lived, and, you know.
Man, that's fucking fresh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So there are no limits. There are no limits, man. As long as you're alive and you got a desire to fucking live a little bit, you better, like I said, get out there and fucking do something.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's real deep. That's real deep. Thank you for that. Because, you know, like I said, man, we get listeners, man, from everybody from juggalos to just, you know, some thugs, some, you know, Tejano people. It don't matter, man. Like our listeners is just such a wide span, and they need and they want to hear stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, you know, I wanna, you know, get my son into something, and, you know, I don't want to do the regular karate route. You know what I mean? And this and that, you know what I mean? And of course, you know, with you know, like what is it, Cobra Kai coming back up and this and that. They, you know, people were like, man, I remember that as a kid, and yeah, you know, and then the kids are watching it. It was like, hey, man, I'd like to try that, Dad, or, you know, Mom, or whatever, and just learn the disciplines to help them, make them a better person. You know what I'm saying?
You know what though, Manny? Like MMA changed my life. And maybe I never trained. I trained a little bit. I went to some gyms and, you know, took some courses, whatever. But I didn't like train to extreme or nothing like that. But, you know, like when I met my heroes of MMA, like, you know, like Vanderlei Silva is like my #1 hero, like entirely in this whole world. You know what I mean? And a lot of the shit that he speaks, I live by that shit. I was gonna sell all my shit and move to Vegas and just dedicate myself to that gym, but she got pregnant and she wouldn't move.
Shit, that's right, man.
You know what I mean? But either way, like I think in general, MMA, like, it's not just jiu-jitsu, it's the whole MMA atmosphere is fucking like it just changes you. It really does. It really does change you, and if you fall in love with it the way that, you know, I know Ash, same thing, you know what I mean? He named his son Vitor.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah, bro. And you know what's cool?
Man, I wish I would have known more about this, man, because I would have put some shit. I think I got some shit of Vitor's too, man. Let me look at my shit, man. I'll tell you what, that's something too, that if I think it was a cover, it's a framed like Pride FC magazine or something with him on the cover autographed.
Fuck,
you know
what the fuck, yeah, man.
Something that's like awesome, that. Man. I'm gonna see whatever I can dig up, man. I'll send you guys.
Yeah, man, whatever you don't want, yo.
You got me thinking of all these different things. I might have already given that one away, but I know I had one. I got Dean Lister's first MMA glove.
Oh shit.
I got
that's cool.
I got a bunch of shit's in our bathroom at the club and shit at our gym.
Damn, man, I gotta go check all that shit out. Well, we are gonna be in Detroit soon, so we'll stop by too, bro.
Of course, man. We'll go to Mexican town. We'll go down to Southwest. We'll get some good shit. We'll eat up. Get some homemade tamales and shit.
All right, no,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Oh,
For real.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
going to tell you, Manny, about the idea. What I wanted to say was because all of the MMA is important. All the martial arts are great. If you're going to put a kid in, I don't give a fuck. Put him in Taekwondo, Kung Fu, whatever, man. But if you have the choice, why Jiu Jitsu first? People ask me this question all the time. Well, why not boxing first? Why not this? Why? So why Jiu Jitsu first? Why? Because it's like this. If we're going to fight and we're standing toe to toe, I can decide to not fight you. I don't have to stand there. If right, if you're throwing punches at me, I can walk away. You're throwing kicks at me, I can walk away until you say I can't go, until you grab me, until you commit to not letting my free will. You want to take that away. That's why jiu-jitsu first, because until somebody's putting their hands on, and I say like this: self-defense means you're late. A fighting system means you're ready. Don't come no closer, I'm going to defend myself, right? Versus, okay, if they grab you, then do this. Man, fuck that. You don't get close enough to grab me.
Yeah, right, man.
You know, so understand that the defense, back to what I was saying earlier about the offense and defense. The defense, when you look at defense, that means someone put you in a headlock. You're late as fuck. You got to learn how to get out of the headlock. Somebody snatched you from the back. Somebody bear hugged you. Somebody, whatever they did to you, you're late. They're already there. They already got you. They're already there. That's the defense. On the ground, they're on top side control. They mount you. They got your back. You're in a seatbelt. This, that. They already got you. You got to learn how to. So what do you learn first? Focus on the defense first. Don't worry about how to tap them out. Worry about how to not get tapped out. Don't worry about how to take them down. Worry about how to not get taken down on their terms, right? Defense. Don't worry about all that other shit. How to do this. Everything else is something you want to do. And the first part is detaching yourself from what you want and finally feeding yourself something you need. And all you need to be able to do is not get your ass beat. You ain't got to beat no one's ass.
That's awesome.
Right?
That's deep. That was real deep, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah, why jiu-jitsu first? Because it's the we specialize in the defense aspect. When shit gets deep, you're gonna know what to do. That's why.
Okay. Yep. You know what, Manny?
What's up?
You should really consider putting Gemma in his gym, bro. Seriously, that would be the shit, man.
Yeah, we'll see what's up, man. Like it says, you know what I'm saying? She's a little solid girl, man. She's 13 years old.
Yeah, and a bunch of badass girls.
She's solid, man. She's a strong little girl, but yeah, you know, and she's doing good in school. She loves Shaggy. You know what I'm saying? Shaggy's hooked her up with autographed shirts and stuff, man, for being on the honor roll and everything.
Oh shit.
So, like I said, man, he's a great ass guy. I can't, you know, like I said, he spoke very highly of you. He was geeked
of course, yeah,
that we were gonna have you on the show. He's like, hell yeah, man, that's gonna be a badass episode. I can't wait to listen to it. Man. You know, wait to watch it. But Ash has got a question for you that he always asks, because we know we're running a little bit short on time.
Let's go.
Go ahead, ask him the question, Ash.
Well, you know, there's two questions, but I'll just ask one. Like, have you ever watched Blood In, Blood Out? And if you have, what do you think about it?
I have, and what do I think about it? You know what? I think they could have done a better job with the Wedo. I think they could have, like, you know, I'm a little bit better than a half breed myself. I would have done a better job than Homeboy. You know what I'm saying? That was my problem with it. He didn't represent what, for real. I was there. I was hanging when it was Barrio Norteño Horseshoe and fucking the Soreños and the, you know, we had the farm, we had the north. I was there, man. I was right there. Story and King, Eastside San Ho. That was where, you know, and it wasn't, I didn't meet one motherfucker like that. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, right. I see what you mean. I see what you mean with that.
But it was cool.
It's like we had one, but he wasn't mixed.
Yeah.
He wasn't mixed, but we had one.
I understand. But I think it was cool. Don't get me, it's a classic. All the same, it's still a classic. I agree, it's a classic. I don't deny that, because there wasn't nothing else. So, but you got to take what they feed you. Yeah. Sometimes they feed you some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, it was good bullshit because there was nothing else. But if they would have let a real motherfucker get their hands on the truth, kind of like we were talking about Edward James Olmos.
Right. Yeah.
He came out and showed you the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a bunch of fucking junkie Takato fucking, you know, in and out cholos hanging and fucking, you know what I mean? He showed you that's what it really looked like. It didn't look like blood in, blood out. Everybody, hey Holmes, all this shit. That shit was some bullshit. Come on, man. Every once in a while you're banging and choloing out. Yeah, they did that shit. But anyway.
He just doesn't like Benjamin Bratt though. You know what I mean? He's like, what's he doing with Julia Roberts? This is bullshit. He's supposed to be with Salma and shit.
Supposed to be.
But so let me ask you a couple questions, man. On fights, man. I really want your opinion, and of course, I know mine are gonna be different. But like these are fights. Like if you could think of one, like throw it out there. But like Ken Shamrock in his prime versus Rickson Gracie. What do you think happens?
You know, I think well, I'll tell you what, I wish I could. I've rolled with Rickson. I've never rolled with Ken, so I can't get, like, you know what I mean? I wish I would have. I would have been able to really say some shit.
Oh shit, that's good shit, yeah.
You know, but I have experienced Rickson Gracie as a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that meant absolutely nothing. I also, you know, like I said, training with guys like Marco and Joe, so I have a really good idea of what kind of savage camp, you know, like I know what I would expect, you know what I'm saying, would be the same savagery that I know from those guys. But I think that when you're born into a family that you're training from the time you can fucking walk, and I know Ken, the Lions Den, you know, the Shamrock family, they're no joke either. All respect to all of them. Is Frank, all of them,
Frank,
all of them. They're amazing. Always were. There's no doubt. Like they're undeniable, right? But I believe that because of, again, just that principle concept that Rickson was so good at using his guard, for instance, to stay safe, take your back and choke you out.
Right.
That's, I'm not saying he wouldn't have taken damage. I'm not saying that Ken wouldn't have landed some takedowns and fucking ragdolled his ass and shit and was a better wrestler or whatever. All I know is once he starts dropping that gravity and holding on and slipping under that armpit and slipping that choke on, you're going to sleep. And it's just too much. I don't think it would have been some fantastic flashy shit. I think he would have been old school.
It would have been a game of chess.
Yeah, he would have ended up taking his back, either belly down or slipping it from the guard and choking him out, just like he did Zulu.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same.
And you know what? I gotta give a shout out to these Brazilian fighters. I know like people kind of forgot about them. I'm not saying that they have, but like the MMA world has. Mario Sperry, bro.
Yeah.
Alan Goes, and Murilo Bustamante. Those guys were killers, bro.
Bustamante, Sperry especially, you know, we still use, I should say, I still myself, he has this system in Vale Tudo. But now, you know, different from MMA, Vale Tudo is literally, you know, anything goes. Right? Right. Yeah. So
vale todo.
Vale todo. Yeah. Todo. Yeah. So they would consider it the art of street fighting.
Right.
The art of street fighting, right? That's why Marco was king of the streets. That's the whole, right? This is whole. But you had him, Pedro, Bustamante, but Sparrow. The point was, Mario had this system from top half mount, where he would be like, "Look, you don't have to pass nobody's guard all the way. You can beat dudes down inside their guard, but it gets a little tricky if they got a guard. So just smash that shit out past the half, smash the bottom leg." And then he had like just a buffet of like attacking positions and submissions and neck cranks and arm breaks and chokes and all this shit. To this day, it's exactly that same shit is exactly what I use, like that his shit to this day. A combination of him, Marco Joe, but in half mount, if we're playing strikes and the whole shit, then yeah, it's his game. And it's a short, tight game that has about like a dirty dozen, like 12 kind of submissions that you can play off of that one. From where you are, you got like, you can cat and mouse that motherfucker. So he's got one or two choices. He's either getting choked or giving you the arm. He's got no choice, kind of shit.
Yeah,
kind of box him in. But that's Mario. That's his shit. It's old shit and it's great. He was used to wear the tight little fucking underwear, Vale Tudo little shit.
Oh yeah, man.
Fuck yeah. You know what though? How come they never bring up that Vanderlei never got submitted? Yeah,
that's true.
You know,
never got submitted. Did he ever submit anybody?
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
Not that
Submit?
I
can't even.
remember, but
No,
But
there was
either way,
some,
man, that dude was a massive ground killer.
oh my God, yeah.
Go for submissions. He went to rip your jaw off.
Yeah, he was
You,
anti-jiu-jitsu.
you know what I mean? And he never got submitted.
No, he was there's another thing though, man. After so many roles, there's some body types that just don't don't equate to submission. Sometimes, here's the deal though, the ones that you would see in MMA versus what you would see like on the jiu-jitsu mat, for instance. If he was wearing a gi, he'd probably get his ass choked out with a collar. If I'm not saying he would, I'm saying in general, if you hand somebody additional weapons, there's a more bigger chance that you're going to end up getting caught, right? So the gi becomes.
You know what? I've been trying to remember this question. Like I remember and then I forget it and then I remember. So I'm just gonna ask it right now.
Yeah.
What do you think about system? Like I've been in gyms where they teach me a lot of shit that doesn't go with my body type. Like I got short legs.
Don't do it.
Right?
Don't do it. You're wasting
I
your
got short
time.
legs.
Yeah.
And triangle chokes, shit for me. I can't do them. I can, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work well. The last place I ever trained at, I had a coach or whatever who would come in and tell me, "Why are you doing that? That doesn't work for you. Try this, do that, do that." And that was the first time anyone ever, did that for me. Which, when I asked him, he said in a business, it's more of a business thing, where they want to just teach you to keep you there and pay the bills and pay the bills and pay the bills. And he's like, I don't do that shit. I'm here to teach you something that's going to work for you and make you feel better so you come back because of that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
So here's the deal. I think that everybody's game has to be based on it has to be based on your body type. You're limited by the length of your lever, and yeah, we strive to not use strength, but certain techniques are going to require some strength and good timing. But here's the problem: what you lack in skill, you have to make up for with physical attributes. All right. So I might not be able to really hit that takedown or that sweep, but if I'm stronger than you, I'm gonna make that shit work because I can force that shit or whatever. That's not real shit. You see what I'm saying? Your body type has to determine. For instance, if we're rolling, I'm 6'1", 220. Let's say you're 5'8", 180 or whatever, you know what I mean? If you're the weaker, or let's not even say weaker, let's just say lighter, shorter person, you shouldn't come down on the ground trying to pass my guard. You should stay on your feet and use speed and mobility. The bigger guy is going to have a huge advantage anchoring and hanging on you, right? So you would never use guard passes that put you down in a combat base on your knees. You're going to be passing from the feet. Now the vulnerability is you only have 2 points of base. So you better know how to connect and move accordingly on the angle and whatnot. But the point is not the guard pass. It's the mindset because of my body type. I shouldn't be expected to fit a peg in a round hole. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when you're developing your game, for instance, you should have, if you went to mount somebody that was huge and you couldn't get your knees and your feet properly to the floor, you got no business mounting that motherfucker. Go to side control. There's going to be a better home base, north, south, look for their back. There's going to be greater advantages for you knowing which positions. And by the way, even with a little bit of training, people get confused and think jiu-jitsu's uncategorized. There's only 8 primary positions on the ground, but people confuse it and say there's thousands. And you got north, south, kesa, side control, knee on belly, half mount, full mount, turtle mount, and back control. That's 8. Now they all blend together and there's modifications of them. But once you have each of those down as a control position based on your experience and your body type, you'll know which one of those positions you should be fighting for. Now you know what the fight is. If you don't know what the fuck you're fighting, so your body type, not only does it determine your technique, not to say you don't need to learn all of it. You need all the fundamental truth because you don't know who you're going to fight. Bigger, smaller, stronger, fatter, handsome, beautiful, ugly. You know what I mean? You don't know who you're going to get.
Like ugly like Crater?
No, I was looking at Manny, man. You're handsome. You're so handsome.
Oh, I saw you look at Manny when you said handsome.
Yeah, come on.
That's a stud right there.
That's it. That's it.
That's a stud.
No, but that's the truth. That's not just what I think. That's the reality. Yes, you learn everything, but the techniques you employ, it's up to the practitioner to know, and up to the coach to let that practitioner know when you encounter this body type, you should be looking to achieve this position. Now you know you got the GPS on, you know where you're supposed to be doing to get to where you're trying to go. If you don't know that, what the fuck are you fighting this person for?
Yeah,
definitely, man. Good shit,
You know?
good shit, man. Fucking
So-
nah, man. And
100%.
like I said, well, let's fucking take this motherfucker home because we could sit here forever, Steve. You don't even know.
Oh, man.
I feel like
Yeah,
we
we
pulling out the beers already, and let's fucking talk all night. You know what I'm saying? But eventually we'll get to do that shit.
I'm a free bird, man. You guys call me whenever. We'll you know, if you whenever you're coming, when you're coming, let's you know, get it together.
All right, yeah, because I mean, I'm telling you, we could go with this forever, like all fucking night. Like we repeat stories, bro. Just re-talk it because it was so cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
MMA, Pride, whatever the fuck, you know. But yeah, man. I don't know if these guys got anything else these guys want to say.
Just one more thing. Just one more thing for Steve. What is to you the best fight you've ever seen in MMA history? Don't matter where it comes from. IVC, fucking King of the Cage, Pride, UFC. In the
I don't think I could give you a true, real answer in without fucking thinking, man, for a while.
Because
like,
I'll give you my two.
I wish I could.
Honestly, I think it's Frank versus Tito.
Yeah.
Shamrock versus Tito Ortiz is probably the greatest fight I've ever seen. If it's not that one, it's Mirko Cro Cop against Fedor.
Oh shit.
Emelianenko.
That's right. Fuck.
When I watch those fights and you see the skill that those people put together against each other and how they combine and they're both somehow they're both equal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when you see the victor of the matches, it's just the most incredible shit. I think those are the best fights I've ever seen.
Man, I was gonna say, you know, there's a slim chance, there's a chance, but it may be a female MMA fight. I'd have to think about it, man. I don't want to say nothing that ain't the truth like that. I don't like that shit. Because then, you know, this is when somebody says, oh, to be honest. Well, fuck, you've been lying then, motherfucker. I hate that stuff. So I'm not trying to, but I'll think about it for sure. And the next time I'll for sure. I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about that. It's a good question. I don't know. But there's a million of them in my head. I would really like to know myself.
What about you, Manny? What's the best fight you've seen, Manny?
The best fight that I've seen, fuck, man. Honestly, I can't remember the girls' names, but it was a girl fight this past year, and both of those girls went all out, man. And they went all out. What is it?
Your Czech chick. I can't say her name.
No, but no.
And Wei Lang.
I think so. And they went at it. Man.
That's fight.
It was to me, it was the fight of the year. You know what I'm saying?
The one with the girl ended up swole up out to here.
Yeah, she had that big
Joanna.
Her hematoma was on her shit.
Joanna, hey.
And she didn't quit.
Dope ass fight.
No, she didn't quit.
Yeah, man. So
that happens all the time to men though. But there's a lot more guy fights, I guess.
Yeah.
She was a soldier.
Favorite fight of all time, what is it?
Fuck, man, it's because of course that Tito and Frank
versus Rampage.
But also, man, you know what? I'm gonna say fights that meant a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Which is Tito versus Vitor. Fuck that. And you know what's crazy, bro? My son was born exactly a year later.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that's why I named him Vitor. You know?
I know.
Because after that fight, he got happy.
And then, and then Ken Shamrock versus Don Fry. It's not the best fight ever, but it was
a big moment.
Yes. Oh my god.
You know what?
Yeah, that was a great moment.
I'll tell you my big moment. I can tell you my moment.
All right.
For sure. By far. And this is what the shit was, man. I got to set it up, so you got to bear with me. I had some of my students over, right, and we were. I forget how long in. Anyway, we had just gotten over some shit, whatever it was, some big bullshit in life, right? Got my students there, my wife is there, my kids we're all watching the fight, and we're waiting for the main event, you know. And here he comes, and here comes the opponent, big bad fucking Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking first Latino heavyweight in the fucking UFC.
UFC history. Yep.
Brother, when it was over and in that moment, it lasted, man, for probably, I don't know, everybody was fucking screaming and like, and we've seen a million fights, but for moments, for me, that was my biggest MMA fight, like how I felt, you know what I'm saying? Yes. That shit blew the roof off my house, man. It was crazy.
Definitely.
We made him roll back and shit. I swear to God, the world shook. That shit to him. Yeah. I swear to God, I felt that fucking shit. I was like, oh shit. That was a big motherfucking moment.
Yeah.
I remember
that was massive.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was big. That was huge.
On that night, I was drinking and crying and shit. Like, I
love him. I love you. Yeah. Look at though, we went to San Jose because our family in California, my wife's family is still all there. We went back and he was training at he's from San Jose. Cain's from San Jose. AKA. So we were from the same fucking hood over there, right?
Oh,
and
wow.
He was training at the gym. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it. AKA, right? ATA, AKA.
No, AKA, yeah, right. American Kickboxing Academy.
Yeah, with homeboy. What the fuck, man? Anyway, I was like, I wanted so they started doing all the closeout sessions where you had to have like inside scoop, and they just were starting to open all these UFC gyms.
Yeah, all right.
And he was, they hit the West Coast first real hard, and he was going to be like one of the coaches or doing one of his training sessions at one of the hookups or whatever, man. And I remember being so fucking bummed out. I don't remember what was going on, but I was like, man, I just wanted to, after that happened, I wanted to meet him so bad to just tell him like, hey, look, I don't give a fuck about nothing, man. I just want to just say thank you for fucking as a, I just wanted to, and I've never, like for sports, any kind, like not football, not like, right. There ain't nothing, there ain't no, that ain't from, I don't know, I ain't hit with no other sport like that, but he's like the only athlete, MMA athlete, because I got to meet a lot of them, I've been around a lot of them. And man, he would be the one that I would, you kind of want to embrace, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And thank him. That was an awesome fucking moment. Like I can feel it, the excitement just talking about it. You know what I mean? It's still there.
Yeah.
Still there. Well, no other fight does that for me.
God damn, man.
Before we let him go though, I wanted to tell you I got to see some gold. I got lucky enough to see some gold live in front of me. And it was I got to witness Jeremy Horn and Matt Hughes roll around.
That's gold.
You know what's crazy? That shit was at an open weight at a Muscle Farm gym, and like John Jones was there, Rampage was there, Robbie Lawler, all these fools, and everyone was over there. You know what I mean? Everyone was on that side. Meanwhile, you got the legendary Matt motherfucking Hughes and Jeremy fucking Horn on this side, rolling around inside of a cage, trying to submit each other, and I was the only one sitting there like I'm watching a pay-per-view fight and shit.
Right,
you know. Live. But you know what? I took that whole shit in, and I was like, I can't believe I just witnessed that. That was one of the
I'm
dopest
jealous.
things
I'm really jealous of that, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm fucking jealous, dude. Because
he didn't talk to me for like a month. Like, la chingada, you and your Jeremy Horn, motherfucker. Fuck you,
motherfucker.
You know what came close to.
Hold on. No. Let me tell him a fucked up story though about that shit.
Oh, go for it, man. My bad.
So that same fucking day, we're supposed to do the ultrasound for my daughter, which I didn't know was my daughter at the time. And instead of going to the ultrasound, I went to go fucking meet Rampage and fucking Robbie Lawler. And I was actually on the phone arguing with my girl because she was like, where the fuck are you? And I was like, you know what? You're not going to understand this shit, but I only got one chance at this shit. I'm sorry. And she's like, you only got one chance at this shit. And we're sitting there arguing on the phone. And as we're arguing, Robbie Lawler walks up to me, or like right here. And I hang up and I was like, what's up, Robbie Lawler? Holy shit. I skipped out on the fucking ultrasound of my daughter
That's
to go
fucking
fucking get Rampage
dedication,
to sign my poster
man.
and shit. But
That's dedication.
yeah, my bad. Yep.
My bad.
That's a great
True
story.
story.
Great story.
It's a good story.
So check it out, Professor Steve. We're definitely
Sure.
gonna have you on again.
Of course, man.
After a few months,
Have 'em
man.
on and
got
just
some more
talk fights.
Yeah,
And
That's cool with me.
we love
Whatever.
to talk. We love to finish this up. We know you got stuff we got to do. You got to do. What I want to do is I want to give you the platform right now of any platforms you got, man. Your Instagram, your web page. If anybody is interested in coming up to Michigan or is in Michigan and want to check out your school, you know what I'm saying? The floor is yours, brother.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we host people all the time from all over the world, man. They've been visiting for over a decade with us, but everybody's welcome. We got an open door policy. We enjoy everybody's company. Come in with respect, get treated with respect. The location I like to teach out of is in Southfield. We're at 29305 Southfield Road in Southfield, Michigan. We have our Instagram is BJJ Club of Michigan. Is the handle on Instagram, and bjjclubofmichigan.com is the website. So it has all the surrounding information. My phone number is right on there. Call me anytime, text me, set it up, come down. I tell everybody, come check it out. Train every class you can. There's like 15 classes on the schedule a week, 6 a.m.s, 10 a.m., 6 p.m.s, all over the map. So there's no excuses. Class starts when you get there. It ends when you have to leave. You're an adult. You know, don't make excuses. I'm 15 minutes late. I can't show up. Fuck that. The classes are 2 hours long, man. Show up, get there, get it in, go home. And, you know, everybody's welcome to try it on first, see if it fits. I don't ask anybody for commitments and contracts and all that bullshit. You come in, you train. If you're a good fit for us, if we like you and you like us, you're going to become part of the family. We train and hang out and things are great. If you don't fit, you'll know and I'll know, and we ain't going to waste each other's time, you know?
Yeah.
beautiful shit.
Hell yeah, respect, man.
Awesome.
But yeah, man. I just want to thank you for being on. And like I said, we really wanted to have you on and shit for a long time. And I knew it was gonna go like this, just like nonstop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But,
man, it's good.
and thank you for your time and shit. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. It was a pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to the next time.
Yeah,
Hit
definitely.
me up for sure when you get to Detroit. We'll have some fun.
No, definitely.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
Hell yeah, we'll be there.
You can't fucking just start kicking motherfuckers in the leg. Bro.
That's part of the game now. You gotta get it. You gotta take one for me, one for Marco. Hey, one for Paul Barlins, bro. Just one.
No, dude, no, you can't do that, man.
Just one.
No.
We got a word for dudes like you from San Jose. It's called chavala. Pese chavala.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
I'm gonna cut that shit out.
It works in Oklahoma too.
What do you say?
Gonna edit that shit out of there.
Oh yeah, I'm editing that shit out. But all right, give a thumbs up if you know what's up, and give a thumbs down if you're down. Peace.
Peace.
Puck's head is a shit!